Pressure gauge is the most basic instrument. In any industry where you are working, you must have seen a pressure gauge. So, let's discuss something about the pressure gauge. Before discuss about the pressure gauge, you must know about gauge. A gauge is used to measure any parameter. Parameter means quantity, and quantity means temperature, pressure. These all are quantities. Pressure gauge is used to measure the pressure. The gauge name is according to the quantities they measure. To measure pressure, we use pressure gauge. To measure temperature, we use temperature gauge. To measure level, we use level gauge. Pressure gauge is mounted on any line, body, or tank. In instrumentation language, mounted means to fit in any line. So, pressure gauge is fitted or mounted on any tank in any process line so that it can measure the pressure. At the time of fitting or mounting a gauge, a valve is also used. Here, you can see the valves by the circles. This valve is manual on-off valve. We can open or close this valve manually. Let's understand pressure gauge more closer. When you look at pressure gauge, you will see some parts. These are the outer parts of pressure gauge. First, we will discuss the outer parts. What are they? When you will see a pressure gauge, a glass is there. You can see the glass in the images. The work of glass is to protect. Glass protects the pressure gauge from like dust and external environment like rain. After glass, the next part is glass cover. The pressure glass is kept covered. Suppose sometimes glass is broken, it can be changed by using glass cover. So, glass cover is important. Apart from this, if we want to remove the internal parts of pressure gauge, then it is done by glass cover. We can remove the glass by removing its glass cover. We will rotate the cover in anti-clockwise direction. Now, we will discuss outer body. The back side of gauge glass is, you can say, outer body. Outer body covers internal parts of pressure gauge. Here, you can see internal parts of a pressure gauge. Now, let's discuss process connection. As the name indicates, it connects the gauge from process. So, process connection is a point from where a gauge is connected from process. Pressure gauges comes in various process connections and in other sizes. When we purchase a gauge or issue a gauge from stock, three terms are important for pressure gauges. What are these terms? The first one is dial size. In the image, pressure gauge is shown, and by these arrows, the dial size is shown. So, in straightforward language, dial size is the size of dial of a pressure gauge. Pressure gauge dial size is measured in inches, like 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches. And this is the symbol for inches. The next one is range. Range is the measurement range for a pressure gauge. Means how much a pressure gauge can measure is known as range. In the image of gauge, two ranges are shown, 0 to 10 and 0 to 150. Sometimes, single range is written on pressure gauge, just like on this gauge. Sometimes, dual ranges are written on the pressure gauge, just like on this gauge. And the last one is process connection, and that we have already discussed in this video. So, that was our video. Thanks for watching. If you like, do like and share. Also, press the bell icon for more updates.